Yeah. I don't know. I'm with you, Turbo. I don't know how they would go about doing that. There's a way to do it. I don't know how they would. I don't know how they'd have to rethink. They'd have to rewrite it because right now the way it is, and Larry's joining in on this conversation is insight, regulation, and or controls. In my opinion, before they would be the people saying that's not a good idea. Now no one speaks up in fear of losing their job. We'll see how it goes. I don't know which direction this is gonna go. If I had to guess, I would say this is the direction we're going right now. I don't think it's gonna last. It doesn't. Something's got to give. Something's got to give because a good example is what's going on with AI right now. Leaning heavy into AI is Fang. That's Facebook, Meta, Apple, Netflix, and I'm not sure about Netflix, but Google for sure, Alphabet, they're leaning heavily into AI and to the point where they're firing people, laying people off, and replacing them with AI, right? That's not happening in DoD. That's not what's happening in the government sector. Not from where I'm sitting. Not from what I've seen in the government department I'm in. That's not what happened. Doge happened, and that wasn't for AI reasons. It wasn't to replace people with AI, I should say. So, what's happening is they're possibly losing money for that. And I think I know why. But let me show you guys the article I'm talking about so you guys know I'm not just talking just to talk. Let me see if it was, I believe it was Meta lost money on AI, something like that. Okay. Meta loses billions on its AI investment, but these costs are not all negative. The company operates as a dual track. It funds high risk long term AI projects where Meta is losing money, massive losses of concentrating on Meta's reality labs divisions. And they move around so much, man. They make these crazy risks. It's paid off. This is a multi-billion-dollar international company, so they make these crazy risks. Like they dove headfirst into reality, virtual reality, with the metaverse. They changed their name to Meta, and I don't know if anybody remembers this. It seems like people have a very short memory. They changed themselves to Meta to go 100% into VR and make the metaverse and all that kind of stuff to rename the internet and all that. And then they start firing people, hiring new people to deal with the virtual reality that they were going to do. That's when they made the Ray-Bans purchase for the smart glasses. They purchased Quest VR, and then I wouldn't say abandon it, but some analysts predict that Reality Labs from Meta will continue to lose billions annually as Meta pursues a long-term vision for a new computing platform for AI. I guess that's better for them since that metaverse didn't work out too well. Didn't pan out how they thought it would. I would say some of this wasn't like the Ray-Ban stuff is a cool ass concept. That's cool, I gotta say. Quest VR, that was a great I think that was a pretty smart buy. They leaned super heavy into it. They lost $4.4 billion in the second quarter of 2025 and recorded cumulative operating losses of 70 billion since 2020. Oh my god. And I don't think they're the only ones. Anyway, so they're making a huge bet on AI. I don't think it's I think that I think it's good that they're going this